When you think of fine wines and olive trees, which country comes to mind? Italy, Greece. And when it comes to Christianity, do you think of the Vatican or Poland? And soccer, Brazil, Argentina, or Spain? Now, what if I told you that the next destination is none of these? Get ready, because we're talking about Palestine. You might think that Palestine is just another conflict zone, but there's much more to it than the headlines. Imagine a place where age-old traditions meet amazing nightlife, award-winning wines are produced, and soccer is more than just a passion. Did you know that Palestine, beyond the images we see on TV, hides a cultural richness, a vibrant social scene, and unique traditions that few know about? Ready to challenge what you thought you knew? Stay with us and discover a Palestine you never imagined. Number 1. Location. Few people know, but Palestine is much more than the Gaza Strip we see on TV. In fact, it's a territory full of history and diversity. Located in the Middle East, Palestine is made up of two main regions. The Gaza Strip is at the eastern end of the Mediterranean Sea, bordering Israel to the north and east, and Egypt to the southwest. The other region is the West Bank, which stretches between Israel and Jordan, and includes most of the Dead Sea to the south. In 2020, Palestine had just over 5 million inhabitants. Approximately 60% of them lived in the West Bank, and the rest in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian territories are divided into administrative areas by the Palestinian National Authority, totaling 16 regions, with 5 of them in the Gaza Strip and 11 in the West Bank. We'll explore these areas next. Number 2. History. Palestine is a land full of stories and twists and turns, where every stone has a story to tell. It all began with the first civilizations that left their mark through fascinating buildings and artifacts. This region saw the emergence of various cultures, such as the Canaanites, who were some of the first to inhabit the land. Then came the Israelites, and their ancient stories are recorded in sacred texts that have shaped entire religions. Empires came and went, each leaving a different legacy. The Egyptians, the Assyrians, and the Babylonians all passed through, each contributing their own influence. Then came the Persians, followed by Alexander the Great, who brought Hellenism to the region. Roman rule also marked Palestine, and it was at this time that one of history's most influential characters emerged, Jesus of Nazareth. Christianity was born here and spread around the world. But the history of Palestine didn't stop there. The Arabs arrived in the 7th century, bringing Islam, which became the predominant religion. The region saw the flourishing of Islamic culture, with the construction of mosques and palaces. In the 20th century, Palestine underwent even more dramatic changes. In 1947, the UN officially partitioned Palestine, and a year later, the State of Israel was created, triggering subsequent conflicts that have shaped the region's current reality. The struggles and negotiations continue, but the resilient spirit of the Palestinian people remains steadfast, seeking autonomy and recognition, a crucial issue in the current scenario. Number 3. Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip is a name you've probably heard often in the news, and for good reason. This small region of Palestine is always at the center of conflicts with Israel. Within the Gaza Strip is the city of Gaza, one of the largest in the region. With around 2 million inhabitants, it is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. Unfortunately, the region faces major economic and structural challenges. Poverty is extreme, and constant conflicts only make the situation even more difficult. Gaza is divided into 5 administrative districts, which are from northeast to southwest, Northern Gaza, Deir al-Balah, Khan Yunis, and Rafah. Rafah is the only district that borders directly on Egypt. The region is surrounded by walls that form a physical barrier between Gaza and the neighboring territories of Israel and Egypt. This division further reinforces the challenges faced by the inhabitants. Number 4. West Bank. The West Bank is a place where ancient and modern meet in a fascinating way. With an area of more than 2,300 square miles, it stretches to the east of Israel and to the west of Jordan, separated by the historical symbol of the Jordan River. Although it has no direct access to the Mediterranean Sea, it is bathed by the Dead Sea to the southeast. It is also home to the headquarters of the Palestinian Authority, located in Ramallah, the administrative and political heart of the area. Jerusalem also plays a central role, being claimed as the capital of the Palestinian territory. However, this is a hotly debated issue, as Israel also considers Jerusalem to be its capital. Israel currently controls the eastern part of the city, which adds complexity to the dispute. This region is divided into 11 administrative areas, which are the main cities: Hebron, Taukarem, Jericho, Bethlehem, Jenin, Nablus, Calquilia, Salfit, Tubas, Jerusalem as the claimed capital, and Ramallah, which is currently the headquarters of the Palestinian Authority. But now that you know Palestine better and understand these divisions of territory, let's move on and talk about the good stuff. This area, apart from not being bombed, holds some great surprises in store for you. Number 5. Bethlehem. When it comes to traveling in the West Bank, Bethlehem is a must on our list of itineraries. Known as Beit Lehem in Hebrew, or the House of Bread, the city is a central point in Christian history and faith, being the birthplace of Jesus Christ. In addition, it was here that King David, one of the greatest monarchs in the history of the Bible, was born. The site, like Jerusalem, is the target of strong conflicts between Israel and Palestine. For this reason, Israelis cannot access the territory. Today, the city attracts thousands of tourists who want to see the birthplace of Jesus, its important sites, and learn about the history of the place, which brings us to our next destination. Number 6. Church of the Nativity. It's impossible to talk about Bethlehem without mentioning the Church of the Nativity, one of the city's most important tourist attractions. Built over the cave where Jesus is said to have been born, the church is a place of pilgrimage for Christians from all over the world. The atmosphere of faith and devotion is palpable, and the beauty of the architecture, with its ancient mosaics and columns, impresses visitors. The Church of the Nativity is a living testimony to the history of Christianity and a place of peace and reflection. Number 7. UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Palestine has 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and there are still 14 other places awaiting consideration for this list. One of them is the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, which Christian tradition says is the birthplace of Jesus, which we just talked about. Another incredible place is the old city of Hebron al-Khalil, which has a super ancient complex built to protect the tombs of the patriarch Abraham and his family. It's a place full of religious and historical significance. The third is the Land of Olives and Vineyards, cultural landscape of South Jerusalem, located in Batir. This site is considered an exceptional example of how agricultural traditions have been maintained over the centuries, reflecting the continuous interaction between the inhabitants and the environment over time. Number 8. Jericho. Still in the West Bank, Jericho is another place that needs no introduction. 10,000 years old and the oldest city in the world, it is a veritable open-air historical center. Jericho is the perfect destination for those who want to get to know the setting of many biblical stories up close and see places where various characters have passed through, such as Joshua, Zacchaeus, and even Jesus. Can you imagine seeing the settings of the stories you've always read or heard in church? Amazing, isn't it? The result of thousands of years of history can be seen in its archaeological sites, ancient buildings, and places considered sacred, which take visitors on a time travel straight to the past. Number 9. Mount of Temptations. Speaking of time travel, another must-see attraction in Jericho, that is, perhaps the main attraction, is the Mount of Temptations. According to the story, after being on the mount for 40 days, the devil appeared to Jesus and challenged him to prove that he was indeed the Son of God, proposing that he turn stones into bread. But Jesus didn't accept the proposal and resisted. This is why the mountain bears this name. The site is of great importance to both Christians and Jews and has become one of the city's most visited tourist attractions. Climbing the mountain by cable car and admiring the panoramic view of the region is an unforgettable experience. Number 10. Gastronomy. Let's talk about one of the best parts of any trip, the gastronomy. Who doesn't love trying new flavors? Palestinian cuisine is rich and diverse, with dishes that are true works of art, such as mansaf, makluba, and kunafa. Each dish is an explosion of flavors that tells a little about Palestinian history and traditions. Mansaf, considered the national dish, is a real feast for meat lovers. Made with lamb cooked in a fermented yogurt broth, jamid, it is served on a bed of rice and garnished with almonds and pine nuts. Today, mansaf is a symbol of Palestinian hospitality, served at weddings, festivals, and family gatherings. And it is this hospitality that brings us to the next curiosity on our list. Number 11. Dabke. The dabke is a lively and energetic folk dance typical of Palestine, Lebanon, and Syria. It is one of the most vibrant forms of artistic expression in Arab culture. Imagine a group of people dancing in a semicircle, moving with coordinated and energetic steps to the sound of applause and shouts. That's dabke. The dance is especially popular during spring and at weddings, and is an important part of harvest celebrations. The group of dancers usually numbers between 6 and 15 people, and there may be a leader called al-lawa, who is known for being charismatic and entertaining, helping to guide the dance and animate the group. Number 12. Olives. Another item that cannot be missing from this list about Palestine is the olive. The olive has a deep meaning for Palestine, intertwined with the region's history, culture, and economy. Economically, the production of olives and olive oil is vital, representing one of the main sources of agricultural income for thousands of Palestinian families. The olive oil industry is responsible for a significant part of the country's exports, boosting the local economy and providing jobs in rural areas. Culturally, the olive is a symbol of resistance and resilience for the Palestinian people. Olive trees, many of which are hundreds of years old, are living witnesses to the heritage and continuity of the Palestinian presence on the land. Families pass on traditional cultivation and harvesting techniques from generation to generation, reinforcing identity and social cohesion. The olive harvest is a communal occasion marked by festivities and collaboration. During the harvest season, families and communities gather to work together in the olive groves, celebrating with music, dancing, and shared meals. This period strengthens social ties and preserves cultural traditions. Number 13. Wine. Still on the subject of tradition, did you know that Palestine has an ancient tradition of producing wine? Well, this history is much older than we think. 6,000 years ago, the wine produced there was already exported to Egypt and was super famous for its quality. And this tradition is still alive today. Palestine has incredible vineyards, cultivated on terraces that have stood the test of time, and produce unique wines with grapes that only exist there, such as Hamdani and Jandali. Today, Palestine has around 10 wineries, half of which produce wines that have won several international awards. The Bethlehem and Hebron region is something of a wine lover's paradise, with beautiful landscapes and more than 20 different types of grapes that are national pride. Number 14. National Football Team. Speaking of national pride, did you know that soccer is a deep passion for Palestinians? Although the country doesn't have a unified soccer league, the passion for the sport is vibrant. In Palestine, soccer is celebrated through two separate regional championships, the West Bank and Gaza. What's more, Palestine has its own national soccer team. Known as the Palestinian Falcons, it occupies an honorable 97th position in the FIFA rankings. This is especially impressive given the difficulties and challenges faced in the region. Number 15. Religion. Palestine is a religious mosaic where mostly Muslims, Christians, and a small community of Samaritans coexist. Islam is the predominant religion, with the majority of the population being Sunni Muslims. Jerusalem, a holy city for Islam, is home to the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, important pilgrimage sites. Christianity also has deep roots in Palestine, with communities dating back to the first centuries of the Christian era. Bethlehem, the supposed birthplace of Jesus, is a significant spiritual center for Christians. The Samaritans, a smaller religious group, preserve ancient traditions and live mainly in Nablus and in a community near Holon in Israel. The coexistence of these religions contributes to Palestine's rich cultural and historical tapestry. Number 16. Palestinians around the world. To close, let's explore the Palestinian diaspora, a term that refers to Palestinians living outside the Palestinian territories scattered in various parts of the world. Currently, it is estimated that there are around 13 million Palestinians in total. Of these, approximately 5 million reside in Palestine, the majority in the West Bank, and around 2 million in the Gaza Strip, one of the most densely populated regions in the world. However, many Palestinians are part of the diaspora, which is the dispersal of an ethnic or national group outside its homeland. The Palestinian diaspora includes significant communities in neighboring Arab countries such as Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria, where many are in refugee camps. In addition, there is a notable presence in countries around the world, such as the United States, several European nations, and, surprisingly, around 500,000 live in Chile, which has the highest concentration of Palestinians outside the Arab world. These Palestinians scattered around the world play a vital role in preserving Palestinian identity and promoting the cause, maintaining connections with their roots, and contributing to Palestinian culture and politics on a global scale. And so, our journey through the bello mundo of Palestine comes to an end. I hope you've discovered new flavors, stories, and curiosities that go beyond what you imagined. If you're curious to explore more incredible corners of our planet, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our next adventures. Thanks for following us here, and see you on our next journey, where we'll continue to explore the world together.